Good evening. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining the Fireside Chat. I am your host and Lioness Queen, Sister B. I am here today with two awesome gentlemen and my co-host from last week, Coach T. I just want the gentlemen, this is their second time here, and I know some of you guys probably know who they are, the Shop Boys. Love them. I love these brothers. These are authentic brothers. They are intelligent. And in my opinion, they have more to offer than what they're giving.
Ooh, okay. All right.
But I didn't want the conversation to be one-sided from last week, where we talked about part one of why the right one chooses wrong. I'm always open to a male's perspective because alone we don't have it all. We need their input. So I'm happy to have them here with me today. And last week, we kicked off the conversation asking a question. In your opinion, what makes the right one choose wrong? We said it's subjective. So, what is it, in your opinion? What does that look like to you? A right one choosing wrong. Toria said last week that it's if a person's intentions is right and the other one is not. Do y'all agree with that?
That's part of it.
That's part of it. Okay, well then give me something else on that. What the right one choose wrong? What makes a person right to where they choose a wrong? Is the other person wrong or is there something wrong with the person that think they right? I'm sorry. I know that's kind of
no, it's a piece that's extremely layered though.
Yeah, that got to be broken down
That's
a little
extremely
bit.
Okay, break it
it's so
down.
That's a lot. That's
Okay.
a duffel bag.
and I just want to say before we start,
double
that I'm not intelligent. I just copy off D. Smith.
bag.
You do a pretty good job.
I just
You do a good job.
I just regurgitate what he says.
I don't believe
I
that.
try my best. I try to do it in his baritone, but it don't be working.
You know what?
Only in the morning, like yeah, you know
D,
what I'm saying.
D is like he laid back, smooth, like smooth wine, and then Monis is like, okay, take the shot. Like that's kind of like y'all personality.
What y'all be doing? All right,
That sounds about right.
That sound about right.
That sound
D.
about right.
And you done put me in the middle of them.
That sound about right.
You got this,
That sound
Toria.
about right.
You
You
got
done
this.
put me in the middle of y'all.
Girl,
Help
yeah,
us.
I did.
It's a shop boy sandwich.
Yeah, shop boy
Shop
sandwich.
boy
Shop boy sandwich.
Not a shop boy sandwich.
I don't know if you the meat or the lettuce. I don't know. Which one
We
it
gonna
is.
find
We're
out.
gonna eat it either way. Ooh, I mean, praise the Lord, saints. Amen.
Monix,
The
Take our
Bible
shot.
says that
good,
he who
Monix,
hath-
please, and thank you.
We are about to find out today. All right, it's gonna get real. Let's go.
Let's go. So, tell me what you guys see. What you think?
I mean, it's very subjective,
Mhm.
and there's a lot to go to that. To what to making the right person, the right one for you.
Right.
And you got to be the right person for that person too. So it ain't necessarily just choosing what you like and what you want. A lot of people tend to mess up in relationships because they're going for what they want and ignoring what the other person is actually bringing. So you may project your love or your love interest on somebody that's not really prepared to even hold that. You know what I'm saying? So that could be one of the issues.
Okay, so then the person who means well
Mhm.
could still have right intentions and not choosing right because they're basing their decision off what they want for themselves.
So everybody has a idea what they feel like is right for them, and then they have what's being modeled or marketed as what's right for you.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So some of it's part you wanting what you want, your desires, and the other part is what society says you should have. Sometimes, and sometimes those conflict. So in other words, you trying to find the right person could just be a jumbled up bunch of different ideas, as opposed to you sitting down analyzing yourself and saying, okay, cool. What I really need is somebody that's going to be patient with me. What I really need is somebody that's going to pull me up when I get into my little negative zone or whatever the case is. I may need somebody who can walk me through this. I may need somebody who has patience to talk me through this. Those are things that a lot of times people don't include when they thinking about the one. They just think tall, dark, handsome, or small, petite, nice body, nice shape.
Okay,
can cook.
That's you.
But it's a little bit more to it.
Yeah, I agree with that. But when you said I need, I think that's part of the problem is that, you know, I want and I need is two different things,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Very.
Men, in some cases, want a diamond, but fall for the cubic zirconias every time. So,
Not too much on the cubic zirconias. Okay.
anyway, so when you say I need, sometimes I don't think that's the drive behind looking for somebody. I think it's off the bat what I want.
That's most people's
Most
issue.
people, not all
That's
people, but
most
most
people's
people.
issue.
Enough to generalize the group, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Meaning well doesn't mean you're gonna do well.
Right.
Meaning well doesn't mean doing well. And you cannot decide that you're the right person.
Come on.
You can't do that. You don't know
Okay.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you cook clean and do things that women like to do with men does not mean that you're a good woman.
For them.
And your other good traits doesn't mean that that's good for him
Mm-hmm.
or or for her. You can't know that off top. You can't walk into it like I'm a good. You don't know that. You don't know me, and you're probably finna stuff me in this box that you created. I'm a triangle. You trying to put me in a circle.
Yeah.
You dig? I'm a taller triangle than the circle is, because the triangle could fit in a circle. But you get what I'm saying. I'm 6'3". You try to put me in a 5'5" box. You can't do that to
So-
me and expect me to perform well. I'm gonna be fighting out the box the whole time. Imagine that in a relationship. I'm fighting out of it the whole time. I'm fighting out the mud because I'm somewhere she's nice and she's peaceful. She probably don't cheat, and because for those who care about that kind of thing, but something about it just ain't happening. Y'all don't see things the same way. It's commonly a value system thing. We don't believe in dating your social class. So
the value system. I
so
like that.
people who dating in the same social class, it's a better chance that they'll have a similar value system.
Mm-hmm.
So now I don't have to wonder as much because we have a similar value system. I'm a good girl. I want to go get a bad boy.
Now, see how you just said that? I'm a good girl and I want to go get a bad
She's a
boy.
good girl. I'm
How?
not a girl. No, I'm joking. Y'all know, well, I'm not joking, but you get what I'm saying.
You just said something that maybe that sparked something. You remember we were having a conversation on the show a couple shows ago about what makes you deserving.
Mhm.
See, a lot of people's favorite line is "I deserve to be happy. I deserve this, and I deserve that." Who the hell told you that? And what makes you so deserving of this, whatever it is, idea of love or relationship? What is that makes you so deserving? And so a lot of people go through their choice patterns based off of what they feel they deserve.
I agree.
You know,
How you deserve something you can't get or haven't gotten?
I was going to ask that question because that was one of the questions I did not get to ask last time. I thought about it and I say, because you hear people say, girl, I had the wrong man. I had the wrong woman, assuming that you're the right one. So they'll say, I married the wrong man. I married the wrong woman. I was with the wrong one. And I'm like, how? So that's what it's bred from. That's where I got the idea from.
Mm-hmm.
So what makes the right one choose wrong? If you
because they
think you
they're the
don't
right one.
deserve this person, you say what, money?
They choose wrong because they think they're the right one.
Because
So
they think they the right
you
one.
thinking that up front is arrogant.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I don't know you, lady. How you right?
So can I jump in? Because I've been, okay. So number one, I like that you said you can't know if you're the one off the bat. And one of the things I realize is that if a man is the one that chooses, right, then I can't manufacture him choosing me. Like there's not enough I can do to manufacture him deeming me the one if I'm not the one, because it's his he's got to make a choice. And so I could be, like he said, I could be out here doing all these things that I think a man wants. That's not necessary. That may not be what fills his cup though. So I can't. There's no cookie cutter way to manufacture me being the one. And we as women, I think we listen to Steve Harvey tell us, a man will change for the woman that he loves. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm not saying that's not true. I believe that is true in a way, right? But I can't manufacture that, and there's no cookie cutter way that says if I do these 5 things, I'm going to be chosen.
But do you think?
But we think that
I
is
was going to
possible.
say, do you think that we as women process that? Like, I'm going
and that's what
to
I'm
do
saying.
all of this good stuff, and
Yes.
then therefore
And they're gonna choose
I
me.
deserve
Mhm.
this.
I'm going. Here's the thing. Here's the thing, and I watched this on this one of these crazy movies I was watching. It's supposed to be about God, da 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 da. But the man told the woman she was trying to please this man, and no matter what she did, it was never good enough. And he told her, for the right one, you will be everything, but for the wrong one, you will never be enough.
Wow.
And that doesn't change how you present. I can present this same thing to 5 different people, and 5 different people are going to have a different experience of what the same presentation based on what they need and what they want.
I think the problem starts from church, folks.
Oh Lord.
Don't get
Don't
started.
don't try
This
that.
is no.
Don't
Hear
do
me out.
that.
Just hear me out. I'm about
I'm
to
gonna
do
listen to you. Go
it.
ahead.
This is what I
I got
mean.
it for no.
This because this is the first place I heard something about God's gonna send me a man or God's gonna send me my woman. You didn't get that from the Bible. It wasn't there. It didn't say God will send you this man. It did say God will give you the desires of your heart, but we know there's context with that. I might want to stab somebody. That's in my heart.
Lord, they deserve it.
So we can't.
Cannot.
So it's not that. So it's not as safe to run with that.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Was there a love match made in Scripture? Sure, there was. I don't remember one outside of Adam and Eve, and they didn't say that was a love match. They were just explaining the creation of man. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Based on what we know, we can feel how we want to feel, and that's okay. I'm all for feelings. Please feel. You know, don't let
Please
them
go ahead on
don't
and
let them run
feel.
your life, but feel.
Go ahead on and feel. Don't let them run you, but feel.
Well, so now we starting with
Feelings
starting
are
with that.
visitors.
To me, that's what I trace the idea of this right person coming to you from that. And it's not very helpful to run with that logic, because if I'm 50 still looking for the right person, come on, man, how many bodies have been? Most of us, we've had some interactions.
Absolutely.
By 50.
Mhm.
So you mean to tell me that I'm supposed to go through this many interactions waiting for the right person? Do you mean to tell me that I'm going to be prepared for the right person after these many interactions? It's not likely. Some people will say, yes, I will be. Okay, sure. But I'm just telling you that it's not likely. The numbers game says you're going to have
It's
some
not
time.
so.
You don't get better at being in relationships per person. You get smarter.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to talk better, but you don't
talk a
get
good
wiser.
game.
You lose patience.
Mm.
Like, that's why we
I
got
agree.
triggers and red flags, right? Because we've lost patience. I saw that. I am out of here. And this is the leave them culture. I'm 42 next month, and I don't got no elders that ever told me, "Hey, man, stay." I don't have
Okay.
not one elder.
Don't take me there. Please don't take me there.
I like the way you say we you said something about we leave, but I think that because we leave pieces of ourselves with this body count that we speak of, you leave pieces of yourself out there, and then so you're not the same whole person going into this next relationships, because unfortunately, we don't give ourselves time to heal, replenish, refuel. We go right to the next relationship, hoping that the next relationship is gonna replenish, refuel for us. Like they're gonna give us what's missing. Well, no, because you already broken because you got body count. Right? You already broken because you got body count. So you have to replenish yourself. But we don't take the time to do that because we think the replenishment or the fulfilling is in someone else, not in ourselves and our seek.
Okay, so let me ask a question since I have gentlemen here, because I don't like to speak for them. Do you guys, because I know we do, because we're love vessels, right? And we're going to give. That's all I always say to men. My brothers that come talk to me, if a woman give you a hard time, she don't want you. Because the one she want, she gonna treat him like gold. When she really want you and love you, she gonna treat you like gold.
That don't last forever, though.
And she gonna treat you like gold if she love you. And I don't know if this is the representative or whatever, but all I know is most of the time when I see a woman in love, she's standing on business.
Is it safe to say that everybody gives themselves a hard time at some point? Is it safe to say?
Yeah, but I was going somewhere.
I think we build this exterior for a hard time.
I'm just saying that if I give myself a hard time, I'm gonna give you a hard time.
What do you mean by give yourself?
I'm human, so if I give myself a hard time, meaning I probably don't make the best decisions. I probably didn't handle my money right all the time. I probably didn't handle this interaction the best way. I probably didn't handle my children as best I could have. I didn't create these boundaries. We all go through those things individually in life.
Mhm.
So if I do it to myself,
Then I'm
you
definitely
got to know I'm
going
gonna
to
do it to you.
So if you have a pattern of mishandling yourself, then you're going to
mishandle the
probably
next person.
We
mishandle
got to
the
give
next
each other enough grace
person.
to get through
Okay,
that.
so so guys, if a woman, because we know every woman may not feel like she need no break after, you know what I mean? If you're invested, you might, if you really lost something, if you really got your heart broke,
You probably need a break.
need to go back.
Even if you don't
get
think
it
you need
together.
one, you need a break.
Because everything you do probably gonna be a trauma response after that.
After that.
So, but I'm saying as far as a man, do y'all feel like in between relationships and breakup that y'all need a rest or a break? Or is it different for y'all? Y'all like, okay, that was that. Now next. Right. No,
It
seriously.
depends on what we invested in. It depends on what we spent.
Okay.
That
Every
makes perfect
interaction
sense.
with a woman is not based on long term. We see y'all in the dough. We know whether or not you long term or not, and we already put you in the category.
Because men are a little bit more intentional. This is what I've realized. They didn't taught me. Men are more intentional than we want to give them credit for.
Mhm.
And we don't give them credit for being intentional because they're not being intentional the way we want them to.
That's why a lot of y'all get hurt.
That's exactly why.
Because
That's
we wanted
exactly
to break your
why.
heart.
Because what?
We wanted to break your heart.
Come
We
on.
want to?
Mhm.
You
Some of them,
wanted to.
sometimes.
Yes.
Really?
I've been trying
Wait,
to say it.
wait.
I've been
Sometimes.
trying to say it.
We gonna do what we want to do with
Sometimes.
y'all.
Sometimes.
Once y'all let us in that space, we're gonna do what we want to do with y'all.
Have the
And
way
I'm not
you
saying,
want to
and I don't
have.
mean, and I
No,
don't
we
mean
are
to say
going
that,
to.
and I don't mean to
Oh,
say
I
that.
know. No,
And I don't mean to say
please
that as a
keep it a
way
buck.
like, we're gonna attack y'all. That's not what
No.
I'm saying.
No, I know what you're
What
saying.
I'm saying is when a man decides he's gonna let a woman into his space, that's like letting them, and forgive the reference.
Mhm.
Okay? That's like finding a stray dog. You don't know that dog, but you're gonna bring him into your house. You don't know who treated him, who mistreated him before. You don't know what his eating patterns are. You don't know what his aggression is. None of that. But you're gonna bring him in the house,
Wow.
set him up nice in your living room, and you're gonna go to sleep peacefully and be tripping when you wake up in the dog and ransack the crib. Like, so when we decide to open ourselves up to a woman, we're being vulnerable. So once we let you in and we see you switching up, or we see that representative start to melt away because you felt like you didn't gain some ground.
Yeah. I've seen that up close and
Sometimes we will
personal.
defend ourselves and it
That's
don't
true.
quite feel like you want it to feel, but sometimes we will stay in a relationship or we'll stay in certain situations to fight with you.
Thank you, Monix. Is anybody saying anything? Is anybody in check, Tori? I don't like to ignore
You know?
people.
Girl, I can't.
Somebody just said something.
There's people in
There's
there.
so much I
Hey,
can't
So yeah, that's
see,
definitely
G.
why some of y'all do get hurt.
That's Martin.
Be
If a
open.
man,
He was being funny.
Somebody said Melba.
Uh-huh.
Melba Martin said, if a man don't know his right,
How can he choose
how
right
can he choose right
when he's in love?
with still doing wrong?
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know.
What
if I
mental
understand.
space does a man need? What mental space does a man need to enter to safely say she is Mrs. Right? To say she's Mrs.
You
Right.
can't predict it.
And
Wait, who said that?
this is Melba Martin.
Hey, Melba. I
Yeah.
don't know what my
What's up, Miss Melba?
Can you predict that kind of thing, D. Smith? I don't know if you can predict it. I think you just land there and decide you're gonna work together.
Because y'all don't plan like we do. Y'all don't plan.
Yeah,
Y'all
right.
don't plan to be in committed relationships.
And-
is what I'm thinking
No,
of.
no. It's not.
Do
That's
y'all
not
do
true.
y'all plan?
That's not
for that?
Oftentimes a man might decide, hey man, I need to settle down. This is what I want. We decide that all the time. Are we as forward as women are? Yes, actually, because we're the aggressors usually. You know, we got, of course, we're left to have to chase the clues. Oh, this is what she wants. Oftentimes we'll do it because we think that's what she wants. And that's one of the worst things ever.
Oh God.
Mhm.
What?
Giving her what she wants.
Oh, marrying her because she wants you to?
Yep.
Ooh, Lord, don't do that.
Yep.
No, don't do that.
Yeah,
Like,
I
begging
hear
you,
you,
don't do
but you
it.
gotta be.
No,
I hear you,
talk.
but you gotta be a man dealing with a woman to understand what's
And,
going on here.
That's 1,000% true. 1,000% true. You marry her because she wants you to marry her. You
And it
are
gets
going
her
to
off
be
your
in a
back.
bad situation.
Ooh, that's gonna be a thing.
You're gonna be in a bad situation.
Yeah, that's not. I don't want nobody to.
I don't want.
because of
I
that.
don't want to be chosen by
I
default.
don't.
Like, don't choose me by default. If I'm not who you want, then just go on and say I'm not it.
Then do not put stipulations on men in certain ways. Like
Meaning?
Because that's what's happening.
That's what happens
I-
when women say, either marry me or marry me or get off the pot. It's like, well,
Oh.
if that's the case, goodbye.
Okay, so I got a question. Okay, I have
We
a
need to
question.
start breaking up with these men, huh? Okay. I just want to make sure I understand what's
No,
happening.
you
And
gotta
that's part of the
understand,
problem
like-
too. Breaking up, but all this breaking up is part of the problem. Like how are you gonna be who we supposed to be? But we always breaking up. We're not even supposed to be having these conversations. but we gonna break up. It's not supposed to get easy. It's literally supposed to be like it is right now because we do all of this breaking up.
Mhm.
You ain't growing old with nobody.
No,
You
when
ain't.
I
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. When I said we need to start breaking up, I said that to say this. If you're in a I guess I'm having a hard time with wasting time with someone. I don't want to be with someone
That
that's going
part.
to waste my
I don't got
time.
time.
If I know that what I want is to be married and you're still over here playing around, not you personally, but you in the sense of people,
You want to
if
marry
you're
me?
still if you still over here playing around and that's not your intention in the
Be
next
like-
5 years, next 2 to 3 years, then I don't know why I'm wasting time with you, because that means I don't know when you're going to be ready and neither do you. So now we on this wheel like I could, if that's the case, I could have been to met somebody who was a little bit more, who was in a different space that was ready as
you-
opposed to waiting you out.
Could you really have?
That's the same.
Could you really
same time.
have?
Good shot, boys.
Wait,
You feel
wait,
me?
Could you really have?
say
Exactly.
that again.
Again,
Y'all love to say this.
No,
Wait, wait.
again, that's
Okay.
projection, and I'm not.
Could-
It's not an attack on you.
Right,
but, we say that out of ego. I should. Why I'm wasting my time with you? I could have.
Okay, and I think that,
And it's like
Because
you
if
be
you
in
could
the
have,
same
you would have been
position.
there.
and I know what you guys mean. I really do, and I'm not negating what you're saying. What I
Okay.
am saying is that how do I, as a woman, make sure that I am not in a relationship that is going nowhere if where I want it to go is marriage, and that's not what you want?
Communication. First of all, I would.
You probably don't want to give them none first. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
That was
probably
one.
you probably
That was
should.
one.
Because once that happens, I'm gonna tell you what, I don't know how
Go
to give.
ahead.
I don't know how to give non-boyfriend sex. I know they say don't be giving to the boyfriend stuff. So it's what I know how to do. I like women, so I want to do the stuff. You understand?
He said, "I
So-
do not know how to give that way."
So you done had sex with me now. I've gotten my living room furnished plenty of times off an orgasm. Okay,
Would you
if I'm
cut
being
it
honest,
out?
it's the truth though. I'm being. It's funny, but it's true though. Like because once that connection happens, things change.
Yeah.
You drop your guards.
Yep. Well,
because
some
sex
people-
is a very vulnerable place.
Y'all just heard this from a man. You probably don't want to give him nothing. Did y'all hear it? Because I heard it.
Just listen.
I heard that
If you
loud
my-
and clear,
If you my
sir.
age, you're not dying for sex. So
Thank you.
don't give me none. If maybe wait a little bit. Maybe
Woo.
try to maybe
Thank
be
you. Mine is like, I
maybe
mean,
at least
like,
be
don't put
able
it
to
on my
say
mind.
that you did your due
I
diligence.
just
That's all I'm
learned
saying.
something. I see. I figured. I said this
If I
before,
want to go
but
get some, it's out there.
playing somebody.
But if
I'm
you
glad
want to be
y'all said
intentional
it,
with
not
me, you don't want to lead with that.
I was going to say it to be.
I'm so glad y'all said
I
this.
think
and
the
not
best
me, but
thing
go
for you to
ahead.
do is to be intentional, but be intentional about finding a friend, not a husband.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying
And I think
that.
Right.
I
Like
think
you.
that's putting the cart before the horse a lot of times,
Yeah.
because again, to go back to that pet
100%
analogy,
this.
like I'm opening up my existence to you. You have the power to now fuck up a lot of stuff. Forget my language, sorry, my language, but you have the power to mess up a lot in my life because I've given you my heart. Now I'm more sensitive to what you need, what you want. You know, I got to protect you now, so now I got to open up lane for that.
And if
You
it's a
know,
blended family, I'm taking food out of my
then you got
kids' mouth.
kids, and you know what I'm saying. So now these are other concerns that I now have to bring into my existence that wasn't there before. You know what I'm saying? So we got to account for that. So you asking a man to just make a snap judgment on marry me or don't,
You know,
like that's a lot to consider.
I have to agree with you, Monix, about how some teachings can influence the way
I
we
do.
operate.
I agree.
And I think that it does not help us because if we go back to the original, when it was just boy meets girl, we didn't have nothing to go on. It was just kind of like a flow of life. You know, I think that boy meets girl is still boy meets girl. And I think that there is no set way for it to become this. I don't think it's a set way,
It used
but
to
I
be.
do think. No, I mean, when I say that, I mean that everybody, it's not going to happen the same for every single person. Every single person, it happen the same way. I don't believe
We're
in
not
that.
going to have the same
Yeah.
stories.
You know what I
Everybody has a
mean?
different
Mhm.
journey.
Right.
journey.
So I'm just saying, I also think that we're living in a society and in a world that it's not really in the favor of men. And we have to take that into consideration. And I feel like with that being said, it's hard for them to trust because I noticed this even with platonic friends, even with guys, when they see how kind I am, how respectful I am, they look at me suspicious, like, what you want? And I'll be looking like,
You can't be this nice for real.
yeah, like this can't be real. But then it makes me sad because it's like, okay, so they just been out here winging it, feeling like they don't really have a support system. And it's like, I'm a man and I always got to show up and I don't get to be vulnerable and I don't get to be like this. So it's like, I often ponder, like, what kind of enjoyment are they missing because they always got to be on the defense?
You know how many fake Sister
Ooh.
V's it is out here?
Fake what?
Sister V's.
Fake Sister V's?
Yeah. You know,
What
they come
do
with
you
this
mean by
energy of,
that?
oh,
The way you say you are. It's a lot
I
of
love
fake-
The way you
men,
actually say and you
this,
are-
men,
yeah.
like you support women. Don't get me wrong. I know that you support men. But there are a lot of women who will play the role to get a man.
Oh,
So
They'll
they
play a role
pretend.
to get into the conversation where men are to have this, that interaction.
I feel that sometimes. Let me just look in this
I've
camera
seen
and
it
let them
happen.
all know.
It's
Listen,
questions
I've
on
seen
your
it
phone.
happen.
listen.
Whose phone is this question?
I can't
Oh,
see
I'm
the question.
sorry.
Can you see?
Oh, that's still Melba.
Yeah, Melba
It's
going
Hey, Miss
Melba is
Melba.
in Melba. Thank you so much for being here. Say, okay, men, do y'all marry your peace, or the woman who reminds you of your familiar comfort? Okay, men, do y'all marry your peace or the women that reminds you of your familiar comfort?
That ain't the same thing.
Is that what she said?
Well,
Yeah, it is.
PEACE is what she
Peace,
means.
Yeah,
No, I know I'm saying, like,
marry your peace.
but my comfort, I'm comfortable. That's a sense of peace.
I think she's saying
Because how are we defining peace otherwise?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Miss Melba, if you don't, that's a woman.
Miss
Miss
Melba.
Melba, if you don't mind.
Do you want to call in, Melba? It's 708-223-8953.
Put that in the
But
chat.
I
Call him,
wanna-
Miss Melba.
I want to jump back to when D talked about needs, because you talked about needs versus wants, and now they're not the same thing. And I've always felt like, in some relationships, I'm like, you don't value the fact that I am with you because I want you, not because I need you. But then men have a figure, you don't need me because I want to feel need. I need to feel needed, and men need to feel needed. But I guess I'm saying it. I mean it differently than it comes out, because what I am saying is that I'm self-sufficient in a lot of ways. I've been grown for a long time, right?
Mhm.
So I'm not looking for you to come in and fill all these need gaps because I'm so needy, right? I am looking for you to come in and partner with me. So I want that.
Do you find that a lot of men give you problems with that? Not a lot. I mean, numbers. But like, do you find that you have a problem commonly with men when you do that?
When I do, I'm sorry.
When you tell them that you want them, not need them? I'm asking, do you commonly run into issues with that?
I do, because I don't think they understand. They
So-
never really get the context.
So here's the question: like, maybe why don't you just not do that?
Don't do what?
I guess I'll be trying to explain to them that
Just
I want them to see the value in the fact that I am with you because I want to be with
I
you.
mean, you could just show them that you want to be with them. You don't got to say none of that. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm saying if you
that
commonly
ain't
run
how-
into
I don't know.
problems, it's maybe
don't
maybe
work.
we just shouldn't. Maybe we just shouldn't say it. You know what I mean?
Okay, so
It's-
since we have y'all here, and what I love about this is that there's no type of there's no reason for no type of bias.
Right.
So it's like, for women like that, or what she just said, I don't need you. I want you, but I don't need you.
Mhm.
So it's like, if I show you that I want you, then they tend to, like, I don't know what it is. Like, I
It's
want
a-
you to make me, they say it's in the innate nature of the man to chase. So if I'm not making you chase after me or treating you cold,
Then you don't see the value
then
in me
you take my kindness and me showing you
and decide I'm thirsty.
without, because I think it's a difference between thirsty and ready. Okay.
And I think
not
for
thirsty,
men,
I'm
I don't know,
ready.
and I don't know that men see the difference between thirsty and ready. Well, I won't say all men. I don't, in my experience, ready means thirsty to them, and I'm like,
Mm.
hold up, you're not thirsty over here. Like, I ain't thirsting at all. My cup is filled in that regard, but but it's almost, I was telling her, it's almost like you can't want someone for real. Like, you have to play this game like you don't want them for them to be okay. Because if
does
you
feel
come
like
out
that.
the gate and be nice and sweet and really, really want to show, who you are in your fullness, nah, you thirsty. You're gonna be, that's too much now, and I
That's what I'm
can't.
saying.
Real
I'm
though,
like,
like-
Do
child,
men
you doing
choose
too
women that
much.
don't? You know how Kevin Samuels used to say, the man you want don't want you. Is it like that for men? Do most men want the women that don't want them?
Nah,
First-
I go, I'm celebrating.
Sometimes that happens.
Sometimes it happens.
Okay,
know that.
explain
I mean,
it
you're
to
gonna-
me.
rejection is a
Because
thing.
is this the chase part? Is it a chase thing? Because when I don't call you for 5 days and then you be somewhere talking about something, then you call somebody, then you be act, but if I answered the phone every time you called, if I picked up every time you called, you would say, "Oh, she thirsty. She don't got it. She's sitting by the phone waiting on me."
I think it's layers to that. I don't think it just happens like that. Not with a mature male.
It's so ignorant to
I've
me.
never in my
Like,
life called a
what
woman
is
thirsty
happening?
for answering the phone.
That's what I'm
I've
about to say.
never in my life called a woman thirsty for answering the phone. Now, surely, I guess you're a woman who dates men, so you would know better than me if there are guys doing that. But I have
There
never
are.
in my life said, "Oh my God, she keeps answering when I want her."
When I call her
You're
to talk to her, she
thirsty.
actually answers.
But
Right.
it's game.
Look, if
You
if,
can't even be
if I'm
thirsty.
available for every day, oh God, it's a problem. You ain't got nothing else better to do.
That's a problem.
Like,
You've experienced that problem for real? Like it's a problem because you're available for every date he
yes,
wants you to go on.
yes.
Well, he's slowed. You can't even count him. You're not even counted amongst
Not
the delegation.
slow.
No,
So
no,
this
he's
is
slow.
crazy, right?
Or he's-
Okay. So it is really that's kind of crazy to y'all, right?
No,
that sounds crazy.
that sounds very extreme.
Yeah, that's a little off.
Okay,
That's off.
Did that just take a load
does he
off?
like
I just want to say thank you, Jesus, because now somebody understand what I'm talking about. Because they thought I was crazy.
I mean, he don't like you.
That's what
that's
I came
all.
up to.
You
You just
a
really
couple-
don't like
but
me.
That's probably Melba.
And you know something too?
Oh my goodness.
People
Oh,
are
that's
just
what
crazy
we
out
got.
here.
That
Like
is like
people are just
wild.
crazy. Everybody
Like,
got
you
different
don't really
ideas
like
of
me.
relationships. Everybody got different ideas of self, and we all trying to figure it out. And
That's what makes this sense.
it ain't a lot of people who can figure it out for themselves. So they
Not
project a
answering
lot.
Tori, that's
That button.
the phone.
Is that Miss Melba?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello. Good,
Hello.
good afternoon.
Hello, everybody.
Ask who's calling in. Where you calling from?
This is Maria.
Oh.
Oh.
This is Maria,
Hey, Maria.
Vanessa's sister. And I've listened to you guys, and I have a comment on, needing someone versus wanting someone. I think it depends on your level of maturity for both parties when you're dating or even in a relationship. I know that I need to make money, to afford my life. Same thing for the guy. But I could just very well come from a small family where I need family, or this person provides that for me or fills that void. I can need consistency or reliability because that's not something that I've experienced. So if you meet someone, I believe that if they provide that for you, those are essential, in a relationship, because if you can start there or lead with that, in a marriage, this person was all of those things before we got to the altar. So I just think that for some of us, when we talk about needs in a relationship, of course, when you're headed in that direction, first of all, when it comes to guys, I think when we get on that topic of discussion, whether or not if I'm the one, if you have to question it, you're not the right person, you're the wrong person, because the response should be an indicator of where the relationship is headed. So that's not for us. And then we put ourselves in the position to be Wonder Woman. I wonder if he thinks I'm the one. I wonder if this is going anywhere. I wonder if this is a one-night stand. So to avoid those things, we have to be mindful and conscious of men have the same needs that we do. They're vulnerable at times, just like we are. But like the gentleman said, once you let your guard down or let the person in, that's a whole nother issue, because you want to be able to trust your decision. Mm-hmm. And when you make your choice or you choose your choice, you have to trust that that's the right choice that you made. Everything else, I believe, will happen over time, where you examine your decision and you realize, like, okay, well, maybe this was a good person for me in a certain time of my life, but we're talking about lifetime. Mm-hmm. So that's how you know. That's just my opinion.
Wow, thank you, Mrs. Stewart.
Thank you.
You firing off.
Yeah,
I like that.
that's your
I got a
mic
question for
mama.
Miss Maria.
You got a question. He has Mike's have a question for you, Mrs. Stewart.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Good evening, Miss Stewart. So
Right.
I have a question. You made a statement. You said if you have to ask if they're the one, then they're not the one. Did I get that right?
Right. If you have to ask that, then you already kind of got your answer.
So is it?
And
So I just wanted to ask: Is it actually cut and dry like that? Because like human doubt is human nature. It's human nature to doubt. You're going to doubt. You doubt yourself all the time before you gather yourself and move forward. So it's doubting. So I'm just wondering: is it cut and dry like that in relationships? Because that seems like that leaves no room for no wiggle room.
No, I wouldn't say it's that cut and dry. And
Okay.
also, too, it depends on the person. I would just say that if you spent a significant amount of time with someone,
Okay.
I should have probably added that in there. If you spent a significant amount of time with someone, and I would say anywhere between, well, not even 6 months, because it takes a little longer than that. And I believe now, because I've been married 6 years and I'm still learning myself. So you don't get everything up front right then and there. Different times, different experiences, different, things transpire throughout the course of your life or your relationship that you get to learn and see different layers of the person that you didn't see before. But to answer your question, no, it's not that cut and dry. I believe if you're invested a lot of your time, your life, your energy, your resources, whatever that it is that you use or that you have, that you spend and share with this individual over the course of time, I'll say more than a year or two, then yeah, I think that's enough time to decipher whether or not this person is the one that you're making time for in your life for on a long-term basis, if that makes sense.
That's good. I actually have a comment on that, because when I talk about whether or not you're wrong, I'm the one or you're the one, I always say, and I'm with her, I understand what she means. If I have to question it, then the answer is no. But that doesn't mean it's permanently no. That means really sometimes maybe the answer is maybe it's not yet. But for me, it's no until it's yes. Right? So if I don't know, if I'm having to question whether or not I can call you my man, then I know I can't call you my man. So the answer is no until you make it clear to me that I'm supposed to call you my man.
Yes, I said that yesterday. Remember, we were talking, and I said in some instances, you my man, but I'm not your woman.
Exactly, because I can be running around. Exactly, I could be running around here claiming you all day. I could be running around here claiming you all day, and you would not be claiming me, so we ain't on the same page. So again, I always tell people, I'm like, well, I'm not gonna just be running around here assuming that we're together. You're gonna need to tell me those words, and if you don't say those words, then I'm going to assume the answer is no. So when you come up with yourself and say, well, I thought, well, as far as I'm concerned, we're a couple since when, because you didn't tell me, I didn't get that memo.
Right.
I mean, does it matter though if you already given the whatever relationship people give each other?
Yes, it matters, because I've learned that it doesn't. Y'all don't operate.
Because it don't seem like if I don't got to tell you you're my girlfriend to get A, B, and C from you, why I got to do all that?
Right.
You make good sense.
Right.
You make good sense, but
That's true. But I also think
See
me, it's so clean, cut and dry.
know the status of where you are in your relationship, and both people should be in agreement. Like, if I'm someone that, okay, I feel like you are a good date, but not so much of a good mate. I enjoy you. I can laugh with you. There's no drama here. This is somebody that I like being around. And even though you can feel those things, which are all good things, but that person you may just have in a friend zone. You may not think that there's a future or anything like that. But I do think that sex complicates things, because some people does make things so comfortable or make another individual comfortable. And while you're yet vulnerable, you may not verbalize it, but your emotions and sometimes how you respond to things will spell how vulnerable you are. And especially if the attraction is there, if it's a magnetic kind of connection type of thing. And then, like, okay, but for the other person, they may have had a good time with you. They may have enjoyed everything that transpired while they're around you, and still not think that it's going to go anywhere. So I just think that instead of one person waiting for the other one to say, well, how do you feel? Or what do you think? Well, are we in a relationship or are we not? Well, are you inviting me for Thanksgiving? Am I meeting your mother next week or whatever? Am I going to celebrate your birthday with you? We have to learn not to really make plans, but to just allow things to organically happen.
I agree with you, Mrs. Stewart. I agree with you, and thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate your feedback. It's been wonderful to the conversation, ma'am. And you have a good evening.
You too.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
It's interesting that she said she named these things, right? Like you like the person, you like hanging out with them, you have a good time, they make you feel good, but they might not be a mate. It's interesting because considering the fact that sex complicates things. If I could speak If my life is any representation of other men, 8 to 9 times out of 10, sex is happening under those dynamics. So now I'm wondering, how could you have those dynamics and then that not be a person you want as your mate?
Because
we have a good time. You like being around me. The dates are good. We're probably gonna have sex based on these dynamics.
Because that creates a situationship if you not really if you don't, here's the thing, if you don't put a real label on what is transpiring between you, then y'all are in a situationship. This is not anything that's substantial. It's nothing you can count on. It's just kind of something that you're doing and you just, everybody's for, you can just, fly in the wind in any moment. I'm just saying, because if you don't put a title on it, if you don't name it, then we're just playing. Whether we want it to be playing or not, we're
all
just
been
playing.
There. We all been in different situations at
and
our
I'm not.
age. I'm
right.
sure we have. We didn't experience the seriousness. I'm divorced.
I'm just out here playing around.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't looking for nothing.
Yeah, I think it's a comfort
and
in
while
that.
you're having sex,
but
because which complicates things.
Yeah, but of course you're having sex. That's the fun part.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just saying. There's only so. Let's just be clear. There's only so much fun you can have just talking and hanging out and kicking it and going on day. It's only so much fun you can have. After a while, you're like, okay.
Driving fast is fun too, but you might crash.
Right.
I still do it. I'm saying. They'll stop nobody from speed.
So then, what are we asking for here? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like whatever we're asking for, it sounds like, because we're not necessarily talking about each individual here, but this is a thing in mass, right, in the community.
Yeah, it is.
So now I'm asking the community, what are we asking for? If this is the dynamics we're going to engage in with that we know aren't the safest route, it's probably just not. It's just not safe if your goal is to be married and have a long-lasting partner, especially in a culture where we don't even know how to do that.
That is so good.
Because first of all, to make a marriage last, it's no secret. Don't leave. I wish somebody would have told me that when I was younger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't leave. That's all you can do to make a marriage last. Now, if you want it to work, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Have a plan, do something together, lose weight together, save some money together, make a goal. We're going to go on a trip twice a year. The kids are going to college. We save this amount of money. We created these businesses. Those are goals that make a marriage work.
I like the way you distinguish make it last and make it work, because those are two different. Wow, like I didn't think about that. Did you see that like that, Sister V? Because I didn't. Make it last versus make it work. Because we can make it last. We can make it last for 30 years, but it wasn't really working.
Right?
Is it really working for me? Did it really? When did it stop working for me? I'm just saying, because
it's a communication.
We be in this marriage for 20 years, but when did it stop working for me? It stopped working for me when they be telling the truth about when they finally get divorced, and they tell the truth about how it stopped working for me 5 years in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just saying, but we was married for 20, but it stopped working for me somewhere around that 7th and that ninth year. I was like, yeah, I'm over it.
It's interesting that the vows don't even tell you none of that. The vows don't even acknowledge any of that. The vows, the normal vows, right?
It don't tell you to put no work in.
I promise to love, honor, obey.
Yeah.
What it tells you is I'm going to stay regardless. There's no reason why I'm going to leave.
But it doesn't tell you to relate. But it doesn't tell you to relate to each other, and it doesn't tell you to consistently and constantly relate and adjust. It don't tell you that. That's the part you have to figure out. And I think that either one of two things happen. Either we stay and we just stay, or we work it out. But sometimes we don't do both. Like we don't do both. And that's how we be messing up. But I think you said, what are we doing if we're out here engaging in situationships? Then what are we really, really doing? And the question is, do we know that that's what we're doing? Are we aware, or are we really, really clear about what we really want?
Because we doing what we want.
No, I'm saying sometimes we're out here in these situationships because we're not clear about what we really, really want. I say this all the time when I did a show. They was asking me about polyamorous relationships, and I was like, look, I think it's a whole bunch of nothing. But if that's what you want to be doing with your life, go on and do it. I said that's what I think. But if that's what you want to be doing with your life, go ahead on and do it. Howsoever. Don't pretend that that's what you want if it's not. Mm-hmm. Don't say yes to this person that's asking you to be in this polyamorous relationship if that's not what you really, really, really want. If you don't want to be in a situationship, don't say yes to the situationship. Sorry, I'm not interested in a situationship.
Now, let me tell you what I learned about a situationship. Let me tell you what my experience was with a situationship, right? because I'm a very intentional woman. And for me, what I needed that to prove that don't work for me. Right. So it doesn't matter what I found out about me, because they say, know yourself, know yourself. So what I found out about me was, even in a situationship, I was moving like a wife. And it wasn't because I wanted to overcompensate him. That's who I am. So I don't know how to do nothing. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand
I'm a
exactly
whole
what you're
grown
saying.
woman. Do you understand?
Just like he,
girl.
he said the same thing when he said, "I don't know how to not give you boyfriend sex."
Exactly. I
don't
can
know
relate
how
to
to
that.
do it.
I don't know how
Basically,
to.
I don't know how to just be a half of a. I don't know how to be your girlfriend. I only really know how to be your wife, because that's what's natural. That's what's natural within
And
me.
here's the thing. I don't want to do that. So therefore, what I felt like the lesson was for me back then was,
to
okay,
finally know who
Sister
you
V,
are.
exactly. See, since this is what you bring, right? And obviously
You can't play.
he still want to move like a checker game or whatever.
Yes.
Whatever he's doing, which he is well within his rights.
Absolutely.
I had to prioritize things. So now I look at a man, and 10 minutes into the conversation, I'm looking to hear something futuristically. If I don't hear you talking about your own life futuristically, where you going, what you trying to do, what you working on, you don't need me, because I'm a helper. So to me, before I be, like I told him, I'm a garden, you can't stuff me into a flower pot. You can't do it. I can try, I'm a suffocate and die. If I sit here and shrink myself down to what you say you can handle right now, I am suppressing all that I have to give. And what I'm not going to do is leave room for you to think you running circles around me. And then I'm sitting up here trying to question my word, trying to question who I am, and trying to question, is it something wrong with that?
Because they will make you.
Again, I say unto you, you've been dealing with them Cuban zirconias. You can't appreciate a diamond. Do you know how much it took to make me into this woman? I appreciate my own value. And therefore, I'm going to remove myself, because you, sir, is used to dealing a certain type of way. And that's too low for me. I can't stay there with you.
And here, you know what? And I love the fact that you said that's too low for me, because we love to. I think women kind of get this wrong stigma when we start talking about no, that's a little bit, your standards too high. No. You say my standards are too high because you can't meet it. Because I mean, and I'm not saying that there are some now don't get me wrong, there are some women out here with some standards that you be like, girl, so go somewhere and sit down and stop playing all day.
Come on,
and twice on Sunday, and come on out. Just let it go. This is the same fantasy world, the same thing, ain't the fairy tale. But for those who are really, really clear about their value, and we're standing on value, then they're going to tell us our standards are too high. The standard is too high because you can't meet it. And it's not because you can't, it's because you don't want to. Because you could. I always said this, within every man on the face of the planet is the propensity to be the greatest dude you could ever meet. Okay? That's it. That's who he wants to be.
When that man sat down with me and said, I got this business idea, and this is what I want to do. And this is what I want the name of it to be. While he was talking to me, I was envisioning it all. And it's like, to me, I'm sitting there looking at him, and I'm like, wow, I felt really good that he felt comfortable enough to go that deep into himself and share his vision of what he want to do. But I wasn't gonna do is sit here and spread a table for somebody else to come sit up here and eat. But you had to see. He had to see for himself, and it hurts my heart, because I see a lot of our brothers, when I speak to them, I'm speaking to the king. I know where you at. I know how low you feel. I know you think it's too late. I know all of that. I'm looking right at you, but I also see treasure, because you're not going to tell me God put y'all here to be leaders. He gave y'all everything before he even touched us. This is why we cannot defy the order of God. I don't care how messed up you think that man is. In God's mind, this was my first creation. So the way to get the answer from God is we got to go low. You can't sit there and go toe to toe. You ain't gonna get no answers like that. You got to realize that just in natural order, he is still the authority, whether you like it or not, whether you feel he's worthy or not. And when that is your mindset, when you got that type of humility in you, then the Father can easily come in and give you the answers of everything you kicking the bucket about. I've done it over and over again as a married woman. Over and over again, I sit there and see that little boy crying inside of him and talk to that little boy. And when I did that, he would break. But I never made him feel like he was less than a man. just because he cried.
But that's because we as women are incubators. That's who we are.
Yes,
that's
we
what
are.
we do. That's how come.
Please give me
That's
seed.
how come. Please give me
seed.
seed.
And I'm not
we
talking
have
about
more
no
than one
baby.
wound. Like we have more than one wound. Y'all don't
My
understand
pullout
this.
game is trash.
right?
So yeah,
You say your
Right.
what?
my pullout game
Boy,
is
ain't nobody
trash.
talking about that kind of seed.
We have more than one wound.
You know what, Monica?
right? So we have a natural wound, we have
Lord,
a
touch
spiritual
Monica.
wound, we have a and then we have this physical wound. So we have to realize that as women, that's what we do, and we do it in every arena. So when you give me an idea, that's why you can see 25.
Yeah.
You didn't got the whole picture because
I see the flyer. I see the website. I saw it all.
That's
in one
because
glimpse.
we're an
I
incubator.
got a
That's
question.
how we're able to
You got a
multiply.
question? We listen.
How come we rarely talk about things that went good in relationships? It's rare. And I know somebody might say, well, I do it. That ain't what I heard.
Right.
But what I heard was, it sucks. And if you don't treat me this way, and if you don't give me this, and if this is what I want, first of all, wanting something from a human who's also going through struggles is interesting. Like having an expectation, period. Good luck, man. We're all, I don't know if we're all available at this table, but that says a lot.
It does.
It says that whatever we talking about ain't worked yet.
You right.
I would agree.
And it's
You
like
right.
we don't approach these things with humility. We don't even come to serve, most of us.
That's true.
Like we will serve. I'm gonna tell you one thing about a 40-plus-year-old woman. Oh boy, she gonna serve. God bless your ministry, because y'all are freaking amazing. You dig what I'm saying? But you
Oh, I
don't.
know.
But a lot of them don't talk like that prior to getting into the situation.
That's true.
So the whole conversation is like, it makes it sound much more horrible than it really is.
Mhm.
So it's like, I think that's one of the worst things about relationships is the conversation about it.
Yes.
On the internet.
They always spew all the negative.
It's like nobody
I
says,
love
I
that.
so loved hanging out with my man today. Somebody says it, but we
Yeah,
don't have it a lot.
We
Yeah.
talk about those people.
And then our viewpoint after we break up, I think that's part of what it is too. You could have had so many great experiences with a person.
Gotta say
But when
face.
y'all break up, all you got is
PR
what he or
campaign.
she did
Negative.
wrong.
Yeah.
I've done it. I've had it done to me.
Yeah, it's true.
You're gonna act like we didn't share so
we
many
don't give him no
beautiful,
credit. We don't
beautiful
give him no
memories.
credit
moments.
for the
And then your next girl, this is the problem having the next girl or next man to begin with, right? Instead of staying, this is one of the issues we have to deal with. You can't say that in front of your new person when y'all talking about y'all past.
Right.
Oh, this person was so wonderful. She did this so great. Well, why didn't you stay? So it's like
That's true.
we are creating the lack of safe spaces with how we move.
You can't
I
move.
love
You can't
it.
go one way or the other. You can't talk about how good your relationship
But I'm
was.
gonna leave
before
again. But I'm gonna
stood
leave
out there.
again though.
Can't
Yeah.
talk about how bad it
Can't
was
talk
either.
about how bad it was.
But y'all can
said-
trauma bond. But y'all can trauma bond over how
Oh,
bad
yeah.
it was
Oh, yeah.
all day.
Oh, yeah.
Wait,
All day.
okay.
All day.
Melba said
But
a
can't-
wife
but
is a
can't-
wife. I'm sorry, D.
Go ahead.
Melba said a wife is a wife before she's married.
Absolutely.
Some women are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some
And
women.
I
Some
agree
need a
with
little
that
help,
too.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
And that's that value that I'm talking about. That when I will say this, when people come into their value, and I'm not just talking about a woman, when men and women come into the awareness and the fullness of what their value is, then their standards change. The way that they approach relationships changes. How they have conversations, the way that what they are listening for in conversations begins to change, right? But that's only because now you have purpose. Because what I always tell people, like, look, when I was out here just having fun and I wasn't looking for nothing, I didn't care if I got married or not. Dating was the most funnest thing ever. I mean, I was having the time of my life. It was a ball, right? It wasn't until I had a different appetite and I knew I want something that was purposeful and meaningful and long lasting that we started to run into the problems. Before that, dating was fun. I was having the balls. It was the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Now that I want that, it's like a thing.
Well, sacrifice ain't always fun. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you good. Sacrifice ain't always fun. I want you indeed to have the closing marks on Monish, you said something good when you were talking about us. I like how you always talk about us as a community, because if nothing else, it'll start conversations going and starts having us examine ourselves and our relationship. Like, why are we doing this? You know what I mean? And so whichever way, it ain't got to be on the topic, none of that. Just flow and say a closing remark based on the conversation we had today.
So sacrifice ain't fun, right? If we now decide after dating, which is fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I want something to last. So that's a sacrifice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sacrifice ain't fun. We don't even respect the fact that this person is not talking to these people no more for me. They
Yeah.
supposed to want to. No, I'm not supposed to want to. She was fine, and she had a fat booty. You
know
understand
what?
me? I'm not joking.
Yeah.
But no.
I'm so serious. She was beautiful, and it was good. Whatever
she was
it is,
cool.
and she was
She was
cool.
cool.
And she could roll a good blunt or whatever you into.
And she funny.
She funny.
She-
Her
she
family
about
was
business,
cool.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
But it makes you insecure for me to be friends with her.
And then we don't even got to get into all that because she met me where I was. We're not gonna be in a relationship, but she met me where I was. Now I'm trying to be with you, but you don't even respect the sacrifice I'm making by doing what we think we're supposed to do, meaning cut all of these people off, which is something I will never do again. Any lady looking at me,
Never do.
understand I won't do it again. I don't care if I had sex with her or not. I'm just not doing it. I won't have you then. I'll live.
Bing.
You did what I'm saying? Because that's just what my life took me.
I'm
But yeah, we don't even respect the sacrifice that the other party's making. I'm giving you a lot right now by trying to dedicate myself to you. And here you are thinking you deserve me. You don't know me, lady. How you deserve me?
Oh my.
Real talk.
You know who I am? I know who I am.
Ha! I know who I am. That's most important.
Okay then, Mom.
That's
yeah.
the truth.
We get it.
What makes you so deserving?
What did you do? You ain't did nothing yet.
You don't even respect me as a person.
You-
but
I don't-
You want me to give you all
Because
this
the last
deserving.
guy hurt you, so now you deserve what you want from me. You don't even know what I have to offer. You just think
Ain't
you
even
just
took
think
a
I'm
look.
nice and you're attracted to
Ain't
me.
even took a look.
And I said some jokes.
D got a say last verse.
I mean, the only thing I can say really is know yourself before you trying to get somebody else to know you, because they may find something, they may show you something about you that you was ignoring this whole time. You know what I'm saying? Or something you might not have even known about yourself. So be in a position of learning yourself, and everybody you meet is supposed to teach you about yourself.
I agree. With that being said, y'all, thank you for joining this evening. See you next week on the Fireside Chat. Have a good day.
No,